So if you're anything like me, you have spent copious amounts of effort and time exploring and dissecting basically every fitness influencer and your favorite gurus online who are jacked, built, and got a deep voice and get all the bitches. And you wonder, they're probably on roids, they probably take TRT, they're probably doing something, they're juicing. And I definitely believe that was the ultimate truth. I really thought that, I might as well just stay fat and not work out and do all these things because all these people are fake anyway. And it wasn't until I got onto sort of a holistic path where I thought, you know what, there's probably more to this than I realized, and there's probably a real way that I can actually start boosting my testosterone naturally. Now, I spent a couple of years being vegan, and whether or not veganism is right or not, that's debate is for a different video and different topic. But after I stopped being vegan, that's when I really realized that I have a lot of excess estrogen. And I overall felt like my emotions were very up and down. I had high highs and I had low lows. And I was ultimately just very, very unstable. And my gym progress was basically on par with that as well. I would go to the gym very frequently and I simply just wouldn't see the gains and I wouldn't see the results. And it would actually really piss me off quite a bit because I would look at people who were basically just doing half the effort that I was and they looked significantly better than me. So, I blame it on genetics, I blame it on all that stuff. But I think that over the past year, I have really refined what it takes in order to naturally boost your testosterone. And I decided to make this video as sort of a guide, and I'm going to break it down into a couple different sectors. First being actual habits and routines that you can follow. Then we can talk about supplements, and then we'll get into how to maintain a healthy testosterone level. Now, when it comes to testosterone, why would we want to boost testosterone? And why is it that many people in their early 20s lack a steady level of testosterone nowadays? I mean, if you take a look at studies from men, say 20, 30 years ago, the average man had significantly higher levels of testosterone than we do nowadays. And I honestly started really dissecting this portion of it of why is that the case? What is it that we are doing that's so much different than, this past generation that had just naturally better levels of testosterone? So I really became obsessed with getting to the bottom of this. I want to figure out, why is it that I feel like absolute dog shit throughout the day? Why do I feel lethargic? Why do I not feel like I can wake up with an axe of wood every single morning? And what I realized was step number one in this entire process is detoxification and removal. Oftentimes we believe that there are things that we need to constantly be adding into our life. What supplement can I take? What is a natural way to boost my testosterone very, very quickly? What sort of thing can I do right now, right here? And if I was to give you anything, if you were going to take away anything from this video, is that there are multiple sources right now that are drastically decreasing the masculinity within the world. I mean, we know that. There's a couple influencers, I'm not going to name any names, but who have talked about this. And a lot of this is not only to do with the mindset and the programming that has been instilled into us, but it has to do with the chemicals and the toxins that are introduced into our life. And there's even political figures who are speaking about these sort of things nowadays, which is very refreshing to hear. But overall, things like fluoride, things like having seed oils very frequently, things like eating the incorrect diet or not getting enough sunlight or using specific chemicals in toiletries, all of these things are a big contributing factor. So I want to break down those things that I decided to eliminate and have significantly improved my overall mood, my testosterone levels, and my well-being. So number one is seed oils. Removing seed oils from your diet as much as you possibly can is significant. Seed oils are very highly processed and they are a havoc on your digestion. They digest very, very slowly, and they are ultimately very bad for the body. You can do all the research, and I might even link some links that will give you some more information about this. But overall, removing seed oils and replacing seed oils with butter, with tallow, with ghee. Ghee is really great. And having natural sources is a very, very important step into following the proper diet. Now, that brings me to another point within food is I decided to significantly limit my alcohol consumption. Alcohol, specifically beer, has a lot of estrogenic compounds. You could look this up as well, but beer and drinking alcohol not only has estrogen compounds, but it also really impacts your sleep levels. And I'll talk about that in a second, but having overall better sleep quality and better recovery is very, very important. I mean, you take a look and it's like within the hustle culture, it's like, I'll sleep when I die. Grind, 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 grind. I mean, if you've lived that and if you've experienced that, you eventually will hit a block and you're going to realize that I can't treat my body like this anymore. And I have had many experiences with myself, with close friends who have really pushed themselves past their body's limits and they're not listening to their body, and they're ultimately they're productive, but they're not as productive as they could be. And I believe that if you are ultimately focused on recovery and being able to optimize your nutrition and sleep, then not only are you going to have better work blocks and actually more focus and intentional work, but you're also going to have more creative output. You're going to have more ideas that are actually flowing, and you're going to be able to ultimately think sharper and think clearer. It's very common sense, but not necessarily common practice. We often overlook this. So going back to different foods, another thing is plastic bottles, plastic water, BPA. There are horrible consequences to consuming plastic water. And this was particularly a difficult thing for me, especially traveling. I've been traveling South America basically the past 2 years. I was living in Mexico, and I was also living in Colombia and Ecuador for some time. And just going to the store, buying a plastic water bottle was kind of like the only option sometimes. But ultimately, removing plastic as much as you possibly can is also very important factor. Our bodies are constantly detoxing naturally on their own. You can look into things like fasting and all of these things, because your body is a beautiful machine that is designed to heal. And the more toxins you put into your body, the more difficult of the process is going to be on actually removing those toxins. And if you build up enough of those toxins, you can reach many health problems, many health issues that will also link into your mindset and your brain. Now, there are a number of other different food sources and nutrition sources that I would definitely suggest eliminating. I might make a list of that in the description below or on this video, but definitely look into that. Understand what you need to eliminate, what you're over consuming. And guys, I mean, I understand you go out with your friends sometimes, you want to have some chicken nuggets here and there. I'm not going to say it's fine, because it's really not for your body, but we're not perfect. We're not going to be 100 for 100 every single time. But just in general, if you can at least maintain an 80-90% overall clean diet without these toxic chemicals and these toxic foods, then I guarantee you will notice a difference. It's really about a week or two before you really start noticing a big difference, for me at least. Now, moving on to habits. I am a big believer in NoFap and retention. Some people just overlook it. I don't want to go into a deep dive into this in this video. I have several videos on my channel that you can check out regarding this subject. But overall, from my personal experience, the more that I've been able to retain the seed and the more I've been able to actually nurture the most potent, powerful energy in my body, the more drive I've had to actually do things that would boost my testosterone. My output in the gym is significantly higher. If you have that energy stored up in your body, you have no choice but to transmute that into something greater, right? So you're going to start doing things that are putting you outside your comfort zone. Otherwise, you're just going to be walking back and forth and pacing your room and, burning your energy another way. But overall, when you start having more testosterone and having more energy within your body, you have to have an output for it. And that's where a lot of the physical attributes will start shining. You will start improving your overall skin, your muscles, your overall posture. You're going to have a little more confidence when you walk. You have more eye contact. These are all byproducts of having a grounded and centered masculine frame. Now, in addition to food, I didn't realize that the majority of clothing, polyester, is literally microplastics soaking into your body when you sweat, especially on a hot day. So Nike, Lululemon, all of these things, they are literally scamming you. And I still have some polyester clothing that I try to not necessarily wear all the time. Again, I'm not perfect with this, but these are things that I'm improving. But nowadays, I strictly buy 100% cotton or linen or some sort of organic fabric. And especially if you are wearing polyester underwear, literally get rid of that shit ASAP. It's horrible for your overall health down there. Your balls will not thank you for it. Having cotton underwear versus polyester underwear is a massive game changer. Now, within the realm of habits, having your stress levels as low as you possibly can while having the highest output throughout the day is ultimately the holy grail. That is what we all should be aiming towards. If you can maintain your stress levels and still have a huge output throughout the day within your work, within the gym, and everything else that you're doing, you will win. You will dominate life. Because stress, by having a lot of stress throughout the day, cortisol levels are through the roof, and having high cortisol levels also affects your testosterone. So I do things like having proper sunlight throughout the day. I go for walks, and anytime that I ultimately notice myself burning out, I just walk outside. Like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I take off my socks, I go in the grass, I get grounded, whatever you got to do. But essentially, everybody has their own personal way to find that inner calmness. For some people, it's literally going for a drive and listening to your favorite playlist. If that's what it is and that eliminates some stress for you, then great. By all means, follow that. The ways that you want to avoid eliminating stress is over abusing substances. So if you need alcohol or you need weed to eliminate stress, that's only suppressing it. That's not really solving the issue. As long as you find a natural solution to lowering your stress, you will contribute to overall better testosterone levels. Now let's talk about supplements. What supplements have I been taking? So I have been experimenting with a couple supplements throughout the past year, and as of recently, my typical morning and throughout the day, I don't try to overdo the supplements, but there are a few that have contributed to an increase in testosterone levels, and I have noticed a drastic difference. So number one is Shilajit. Shilajit is a fulvic acid typically found in mountains in Europe, and it is very beneficial for mental clarity and having more energy. It kind of just gives you this extra kick, not really related to a caffeine, but it is a very good supplement throughout the day. I noticed that my energy levels are a lot more stable when I'm taking Shilajit. And I typically like to take that in the morning. I mix that with hot water so I can get the goop version of that and mix it in hot water. It doesn't taste the best, but it does the job. Glycine is another great one. Glycine is perfect for muscle recoveries and also for your sleep quality. It is one of the only supplements that I have taken that as soon as I take that before sleep, I notice the difference in the morning opposed to not taking it. When I mix some glycine and some water and chug that down, say 30 minutes before bed, I always notice a difference in the morning. And in addition to that, within sleep, I also take magnesium. My favorite is Mag Enhance on Amazon. Magnesium is very, very important for recovery as well. And most people are actually deficient in magnesium. So definitely suggest a good source of magnesium. Other supplements, basic ones would be zinc and vitamin D. Obviously, if you can and live in an area where there's plenty of sunlight, try and get your vitamin D from the sun as much as you possibly can. Otherwise, you can supplement for it, but I would definitely go and try to find the best source to supplement from. Another supplement which has been a huge game changer is beef organs. I kind of cringed at this idea at first, Liver King, eating raw testicles and raw liver. And I have eaten raw liver before, but personally for me, it's way easier and a lot more doable to do consistently, to just take a supplement of beef liver. So I will take not only beef liver, I have been buying bottles of multiple organs within one. So like beef liver, testicle, blood, bone marrow, all those things. There's a couple different brands. I'm not sponsored by one, but I can definitely encourage Heart and Soil, which is from Carnivore MD. His brand is really good. I've been taking that for nearly a month now, and I have definitely noticed a difference within that. So whatever you can, if you don't want to have multiple organ supplements, I definitely suggest liver first and foremost. If you take a good sourced beef liver, your overall mood and energy and your skin glowing, all these things, they're all real. It all really works. And most recently, I have also introduced Tonkat Ali. I have watched many influencers break this down, and I was kind of skeptical about it, but I have been taking a dose every day, do 5 days on, 2 days off, and I have definitely noticed a difference in output within the gym, my overall sex drive, and overall just feeling good throughout the day. I don't necessarily know what the boost in testosterone is based on the numbers. I haven't really gotten my blood work done on that, but I think I noticed a difference, and I'm going to continue taking that, and maybe I will break that down in a whole separate video. So I hope that these tips helped you guys. It was kind of a spew of information, but I really wanted to share it because many people have asked me, how do you get your voice deeper? How have you gotten gains in the gym? I noticed there's a big transformation that you've had within the past couple of years. So that's really it. There's not a whole lot to it. The main thing that I realized was that there are, more than ever, there's a ton of different things constantly impacting our masculinity nowadays, and mindset is a portion of it. I used to just follow mindset and not be mindful of what I was consuming and not consuming, and it's a triad: mind, body, spirit. So to just ignore the nutritional portion of it and the rest portion, recovery, and only focus on mindset is not good, and also only to focus on those things and ignore mindset is not good as well. So really, to be able to understand and to really commit to following this path of self-optimization and becoming the best version you can, you will find your way. There's plenty of resources in addition to this one that you can go into and go down the rabbit hole, but overall, it is a much better life when you are conscious of these things. It does take some effort. It's not necessarily like a one pill fix for every single person. It's a lot of personalized, custom tailored things that you'll have to trial and error with, but overall, I feel incredibly better, and I feel like I am ready to conquer each and every day. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.